I wonder if I made it worse. Looks kind of weird. See, it drives me crazy. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I really am. So, I hope I don't cry for today's episode. I really want to talk to you about source energy. That's what this episode's going to be about. So for those of you that asked me, how is it that you plug in and just stay connected? Is this a possible thing throughout the day? I'm going to address that in this episode and address some of my own practices in sinking into source energy and also pass along some stories. So I hope you stick around and I hope you enjoy our time together. Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're back. So, listen, I often use the term God, right? That's what I grew up with, and that's what I tend to use. But really, it's source energy, it's divine consciousness, it's great spirit, it's a million names, right? Many names, all one. You might come from a specific religion that puts a specific name on the being that, or the energy or the frequency that I'm going to discuss. This work that I do is non-denominational. It's for any religion. I don't ask you to change your religion at all. I just ask you to maybe use your 11 soul senses to tune into it. Right? But some people also feel that they don't necessarily connect with a source that's source or a energy field that's source, but maybe they could relate to something more like grace or the frequency of knowledge or love or truth. And this is also for you if that resonates. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. I don't want to cry. I do not want to cry. It's like, I'm not looking at you. You know, when you're like, have a friend and they're so close, they're so close and you're so close, you know that if you look at them, you will just bust up laughing. Doesn't matter where you are. You're like, oh my gosh, this is God and I, right? Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to look at you. I'm going to look at you because you're going to make me cry and I don't want to cry, or you're going to make me laugh. So I'm going to keep my distance for a while, except, you know, when I tell you about tuning in on these deeper levels, I might slip into that mode, right? But I'm going to do my best not to cry because I have this new mascara on and I don't want to mess it up. Okay, I don't. I'm such a girl. So listen, there are, oh my gosh, I am getting so hot. My hands are hot and my feet are hot. So I'm going to take off my boots and my socks. I can't believe this, but yes, I can. Like, I don't even have the heat on, right? In the office studio / space. Feels so much better. Energy coursing through me. Oh my gosh, don't make me cry. So where was I? Okay. I use two forms and two ways to connect with divine frequency, right? I'm going to tell you mine, but you probably have your own ways. Maybe they're like mine, right? So the two forms that I use is dedicated connection time and also real world life, right? Those are the two areas in my life that I converse and commune with God. Is I set aside time throughout my day to really just sink in and connect, and then also throughout my day-to-day life. These are conscious connections and commitments and intentions, right? And so you can't see me, but my hands are like gripping the desk that I'm sitting at because I'm just like trying to just like stabilize, right? I am not leaving my body. I refuse. So in the dedicated prayer time, or in the time that I set aside time specifically to close my eyes, focus in, I do that for two things to happen. And those of you that just got kind of tweaked by the word prayer, prayer just means raise your heart and mind to God. That's what that means. It's pretty powerful. And you can call it meditation. I'm probably going to call it prayer time for this just cuz that's I mean, I'm older and I have been referring to that in my head for all these decades. So that's what you're going to get is what's in my consciousness. So when I decide to set aside time, and if you've been following me, thank you, and you know that I get time with God usually, or guides, or angels, or my own soul, wise self, every morning. I have coffee. Coffee. Yay. And sit with God and troubleshoot my life. So when I go into my dedicated prayer time, I do one of two things. The first is typical dialogue, and I do it through my 11 soul senses, and I grab a journal. I sell a lot of blank notebooks in my shop. Maybe you'll be inspired to support the channel by purchasing some. I've got my fave, What If You Are the Divine Plan? Maybe grab that for your God time, because I encourage you to set aside a specific notebook or journal specifically for your God conversations. It's just nice. I wish I would have. Didn't. I didn't. All these years. Oh my God. I would just love to have it all in one place, right? I do when I go away on like a 40-day retreat or a 21-day retreat, especially when it's a silent retreat. I will definitely bring one dedicated journal, notebook, blank notebook for my God conversations, because there's no freaking way I can remember all that's coming through, especially when I'm sobbing through a lot of it. So I set aside my morning time and I dialogue with God. And so I invite you to do the same. You just set the intention. I ask to be connected with divine source, you, God, insert name of choice that you call this experience. Like, how do you wrap? Like, there's no word, right? There's no word. Yeah, no word. And you can bring ordinary difficulties to that session and that time together. You can ask for advice on certain people in your life that you're having issue with. You could even just say, tell me something I need to know, or what do I need to, for me, I do a lot of what's the next steps, for the next 6 months out for my business. What do you want me to tell these people? And so this episode was planned a while ago. It's been a long time coming. But I wanted to build you up to it, right? Wanted to build you up to it. The dialogue, when I'm journaling it down, I'll write my questions and then I'll write God's answer. And the answers always come through your soul senses, right? Comes through your soul senses. And often I go in starting with eyes closed. Might light a candle, definitely set aside quiet time so no one can bother me or I won't be disturbed. I definitely grab blankets or not, like I just kicked off my shoes, right? And socks because I'm like hot. But I sometimes get cold. It's just a body temperature fluctuation. I get cold and then I get ferociously hot. And no, it's not hot flashes, you guys. I don't have those unless I eat wheat or have alcohol. No, those are just communion with God times. That's what that is. That is power surges because I'm in source light energy. So you'll also recognize the sense of connection when you're in that frequency of light and love and grace, and you might cry and it'll be a resonance, and just say, come closer, make your presence so powerfully known. And it could be that still quiet voice of a whisper response in your thoughts, could be a different voice in your thoughts, right? Coming through. And so it may be that you're compelled to open a book and read words in the book that jump out or are the answer or the connection, stuff like that. I oftentimes will pull angel card or something, just for fun, just for fun, because it's just fun. But often I just go in to have that dialogue. And in those spaces, in that dedicated prayer time in the morning with the coffee, I also take moments of mystical union where I am just caught up by just allowing my consciousness, my awareness to raise, rise up as I'm making the connection. And I go to God in that space of higher frequency, right? As opposed to asking God to come close so I can be conscious enough to have my eyes open journaling. But when I go up into that space of God, often I'll rest in that mystical union space because I'm getting goosebumps because well, it's so powerful, right? And so light and beautiful and it's different sometimes. Sometimes it's not this blinding light. If you've been following me, you know my episode, my God visit, that was like blinding light, you guys. And that was like God tapping me to come into my treatment room at the time and connect. And when God first came, I was watching a movie and I was like feeling this presence going, oh, spirit wants to talk to me. I was with my friend and I was like, listen, I've got to go in the treatment room. Some spirit wants to talk to me because I didn't look and God didn't like reveal, right? I just knew the presence, clear sensation. The frequency shifted. Somebody's here. Close, I didn't close my eyes, put my hands on my heart, but you could. I could have, but I just tuned in with my eyes open because I was watching the movie. Tuned in and I'm like, okay, someone's here. I gotta go. I gotta go. Can you pause the movie? And went in. And then this whole powerful, profound God moment happened. I've had a lot of beautiful moments with God, never as profound as that. If you haven't listened to that video or listened to the episode or watched the video or heard it on podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, check it out. It's so I won't repeat it here, but it was powerful. But all the other times, they're often different, right? And so I think we have to show up differently for our friends sometimes. That's how we are. Sometimes we go have a good cry. Sometimes we have a good laugh. Sometimes we just hang out. I don't know about you. Maybe it's all these years of marriage. Sometimes my husband and I go on a drive and we're just silent, right? We're just in each other's spaces. God is that way too. God is that way too. Like a great, friend, everything, a lover, everything, like just loves you, parent, all this stuff, right? All these beautiful attributes that come in the moments of recognition. And so I suggest you don't expect it to be the same every way, but maybe it is the same every way for you. I don't know, but I'm just saying don't miss it. So when I allow myself to just go up into that mystical union and I give over, right? Especially if God is like calling me up, it's powerful. And it's more uh I don't know. I think it's predominantly like a clear sensation, no, it's not really shared sensory experience. It's definitely an empathic experience. Like I feel it resonates through my whole being, right? And I am resting in that place of light that it is palpable and it's love and it usually makes me cry. And I wonder if you've had these moments too, and sometimes they're brief and sometimes they're long. And I just allow myself to get caught up in those moments, and I invite you to do the same. Listen, if God shows up, or if you intentionally listen, this is intention, right? It's intention setting. But when you set that intention and you close your eyes with the intention of connecting, milk it, milk it for all it's worth. And the same when God shows up to you, just be like, wow, I am just gonna feel this completely wholeheartedly. How do I feel it? Where does it show up for me? What are my emotions? All of these things. Am I having a visionary experience? What's that like? All of these things. Milk the experience. But also in a weird way, I don't grasp because then all of a sudden I become more conscious of what's happening. And that consciousness might then dilute the experience or shift it because I'm going more in my brain than I am in that essence of spirit and soul, right? Soul connection, because this is a soul connection. Now, when we get resonance on a soul level, it can definitely affect us physically. There's this beautiful relationship between the soul senses and the physical senses. I am getting so many chills, my whole body. Listen, I have flannel jeans on right now because it's winter where I am and when I'm recording this, and well, it's almost winter. And I am cold, but I'm coursing light hot. It's the weirdest thing, right? It's the weirdest thing. So, but I'm getting goosebumps with the flannel jeans on, flannel lined jeans. Go figure. So, I definitely set aside prayer time. I set aside as long as it takes to get through 2 cups of coffee with my collagen in the coffee. And and I sometimes it's like 40 minutes, but sometimes it's an hour, and I mean sometimes it's like 3 hours. I get up early. I get up anywhere between 4:30 and 6. And so that if I have all the way till 7, it's okay, you know? Do what works for you. Do what works for you. I encourage you to try this if you haven't already. Try it for like 21 days or try it for longer, just because the consistency is fabulous. Because both of these experiences in your dedicated prayer time, this time sitting with God, really, source energy, great spirit, goddess, it's the intention of that's the highest, highest that you want to go. That dedicated time, whether in dialogue or moving into mystical union, fortifies your day to day life. And that's the other way. Same kind of form, still dialogue, still union, but I carry prayer time dialogue union into real world life dialogue union. Hot, hot, hot hand. So I am going to send this out to you. I am getting freaking full body chills. I am going to send this out to you because these are healing hot hands. So I am just holding you, holding you, holding you in the light love of God. I am holding you in that frequency of divine devotion, grace. Oh my gosh. It's coming through me. It's not from me. It's coming through me. And I am holding you in it. I am taking you and putting you in my hands. And I am just flooding your essence with this light. And so if you want to close your eyes and feel this and just feel the love of God and how incredibly loved you are and how unique and amazing and special you are. And just phenomenal you are. And yes, we all come in with hiccups to hurdles to jump or whatever free will. We go this way and that way, but you are, you are divinely guided and you are just a gift. You're just a gift. You're a gift. Your every breath is a gift. It's a gift on the planet. It's a gift to you. It's just this amazing, amazing awareness that I want you to really pour into every cell and fiber of your being, um, that you are a gift. You are a gift. I just keep hearing that you're a gift. You're a gift. And so I'm going to keep my hands together like this after I get a drink. I'm going to keep my hands together. I'm going to hold you in my hands through the rest of this. So, wow. You can listen to this episode more than once if you want. I'm asking, can I put my hands on my legs? I feel like I want to put my hands on my legs. I am going to put my hands on my legs, right? But I'm putting them to fortify your stance in life, to fortify your position in life. So if I was doing a Reiki session on you right now, I'd be having my hands on your thighs, right? So it's just pouring down and through you the energy of light and love to fortify you in all your days so that you can walk your path as God intended, right? As source intended, as your highest truth intended, all synonymous, many names, all one. So your dedicated prayer time fortifies your day-to-day life. That's why I do it every day. And it's also about spending time in that frequency of divine source consciousness, right? Divine consciousness, so that I can understand that frequency, so that I can recognize that voice, so that I can recognize that palpable impression when God is near, when source energy is near, right? Very different frequency from loved ones that have crossed, angels, and spirit guides. Very different frequency. Divine consciousness. It's just when you get caught up in it, you're just like radiating love light. right? You can do no wrong, no harm. And that's what that is. Those messages that you'll get from God never will ask you to bring harm to yourself or others. Ever, 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 ever. God is love. God is love. Total love. And so sometimes when I bring my difficulties to God about friends that have, or friendships that have gone awry, or people that are uncomfortable in my arena, then I am moved to that frequency of compassion and love. Doesn't mean I'm supposed to hang out with those people anymore. Pray for them at a distance, throw them light and love, speak from my heart when I'm with them. But sometimes it's walk away, do what we can, and, and then move through forward in our life. Bring those troubles to God so that you can have greater clarity and the compassion. And sometimes it is just greater methodology of communication to bring to the relationship, no matter what it is, right? Even when it's something as steep as a commitment of marriage, or understanding connections that you can't walk away from, like children or whatever, that you're just like, wait a minute, what I'm struggling here, what can I do? How can I get help on this greater level? And so I'm always surprised sometimes with what God tells me in those situations, right? Like, oh, okay, didn't even know that was an option. Thank you. And it's great because it doesn't come from my consciousness. It comes from the space of light and love and truth. And that's fabulous. So when you sit in dedicated prayer time, it fortifies your real world life connection, so that when you are walking your daily life and you're troubleshooting problems, you can take that same energy and communication and skills within the communication experience into that problem, right? Whether it's work or relationship, family, or practice, or whatever it is, professional practice, whatever it is, personal life, and you can dialogue. And I do that so often. And sometimes it's dialogue. You wouldn't even know I was doing it. I'm like cooking dinner, or if I'm taking a walk, it's going to be obvious. If no one's talking to me, I'm talking to God, I guarantee. Like, I am like calling all the angels and the guides to come surround me, or maybe I'm talking to my dad and pulling my whole team in, but oftentimes I'm talking to God, to go, who do you want me to pray for today? What politicians should I send light and love to help raise consciousness on the planet, or choices in rules, regulations, and laws and everything. And so when I encourage you to do the same, it's just noticing in the moments throughout the day, is paying attention, being mindful of your mindfulness. Where's your mind? And are you struggling or stressing on something that maybe you'd be better off bringing it? Let go, let God, or turn it over. I don't always think that that's the end all be all. I think those sentences are part of a greater picture that begins with, is there something I can do? And if there is something I can do, help me, right? Otherwise, the serenity prayer, just is a great reminder. Is a great reminder. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is a lovely prayer. But I also think in the moments that you can't change something, unless you change yourself, and maybe it's just bringing your awareness to a new perspective, that there are times when you could still pray out love to the person, the situation, the conflict, the whatever, if you've done all you can, whether it's, whatever you've been inspired to do with the God time, you might be inspired to do a lot of things. And so I'm just reminding you that in your day-to-day life, notice when you're stressing and you're walking through your life and going, wait a minute, can I turn my attention to a God conversation, a source energy conversation, to go, what would you have me do? Is there something I could do, differently? Or is there an awareness you want to bring to my heart and mind so that I can have greater compassion or understanding? Or, what is it? Your 11 Soul Senses, a journal for self-discovery, is something I created just for you. It is complete with definitions, writing prompts, and blank journaling pages to help you reconnect with your true essence and your soul sense abilities. To get your copy, visit my shop or go to constancemessmer.com. And thanks for tuning in. This is me getting nerdy with really having a lot of dialogue time with God and using those two techniques, whether dialogue with divine consciousness with God or abandon, like mystical union, abandon with God. And so that too, I bring in my real world time. I've mentioned this before. There's a couple ways that it can be done. And the abandonment is one is being in the flow and really setting the intention at the start of your day to ask to be guided by highest source and truth throughout the whole of your day with next steps, like minutia next steps, like, you know, is knowing when the right time is to make that phone call, do the laundry, bring up that conversation, take the dog for a walk, all of these things outside of the routine, right? We don't want anybody, getting like not what they need, but just there's things that you can fold into in the flow and just recognize that with the intention setting first thing in the morning. Like, I really want to put on the mind of God. I want to have you so wholeheartedly flow through me that you are my hands and feet and voice and ears and all of it and eyes. What would you have me do? This is a beautiful opportunity to really live from this higher frequency. I myself have to do it with intention and set it, just really be like, oh, and then check in throughout the day. Am I still in it? I'm still in it. Usually yeah, I can tell when I'm in it. You all of the sudden consciousness slips away and you're not thinking about doing anything. You're just doing, doing, and things flow and it's grace and things work out and you learn to trust in that flow. And so if you don't follow me on the shorts or the Instagram or Facebook, those platforms, be sure to follow me because I think I'll make some short episodes about this specifically. I think that would be fun. Quick little easy reminders of what that feels like. Maybe I'll even put it in a voice memo. Those are always fun with moving pictures. So yeah, so that neither one of us will be distracted on my hairs, how my hair looks that day. So I'm putting my hands back on the desk because they're just so hot. They're leaving those marks, right? It's so wild. So recapping, those are the two things. There are two forms in two ways. Two ways are dedicated prayer time and also real world life, just moving through my life. And the forms are dialogue, conversation, and mystical union. And both can be in either place. And the more you do it in your dedicated prayer time or your dedicated meditation time, whatever you want to call it, or dedicated time with source energy, God, the stronger and more fortified the experiences will happen in your day-to-day life. Listen, God comes to us. I'm hoping you recognize when it's happening. You know my thing, hands on heart. Who said that? Where'd that come from? What's pulling me in that direction? Clear sensation, right? What am I feeling around that person? It feels like they're glowing. Okay, I'm going to look. Wow. All these beautiful experiences that might be missed otherwise. I just want to remind you of the ways that sometimes, listen, there's a million ways I think that God helps us, right? But I think oftentimes we get messages and God sends help. And certainly there are times in my life that I've had bad things happen. And I was like, where was God there? But God was there, right? But we all have free will. So I wasn't alone in those situations. And sadly, the other person was not of right mind, right? So, or other people were not of right mind. So there's that. But sometimes God asks us to be hands and feet on the ground here and to be helper and messenger for God, right? I've had this happen a few times and it's it's really good stuff. And if we're asked of things, it's only going to be goodness, love, light, truth, good. It'll make you feel good and it won't bring harm to anybody. So I have a couple stories that I want to share. One is, wait, my hands are so hot. One happened a long time ago. I was at a spiritual retreat and I stepped away from the morning experience. Wait a minute. No, I didn't step away from it. I was at a spiritual retreat. I got up super early to go to mass. Told you I was raised Catholic, and I do go to Catholic mass now and again. Um, I went to mass super early. I went there and I'm just praying in the morning, just immersing myself. I love going to sacred places and sacred sites to find God. I've gone in mosques, I go places. If I'm not allowed in, like a temple or something, I'll touch the outside of the wall and astral project inside to feel, how does God feel in these spaces separate from out and about? And what about, can I practice seeing the God in others? Like, God in others, I see you hiding. I see you hiding in there. I see you. I see the love of God in you, right? Mm, that makes me emotional. So I went to church early one morning. I'm praying. I'm tuning into God. My eyes are closed and I hear other people coming into the mass. And there's this feeling that I get, open your eyes. And it was a favor. God was asking me a favor. I open my eyes. My eyes are drawn to this woman who is helping set up the altar before the mass. And God says, tell her I love how she listens to me. She is very faithful. And I said, oh, you don't want me to say that? She's got to know it. And here I am. And God's like, I'm asking you to do this. I'm like, okay, fine. And I was thinking a few things. One, I was thinking, what if I'm wrong and I'm not really hearing this? But then I realized, this is a very strong, solid God voice happening in your ear. This is coming in, not from, it's coming into you. So I was like, okay, fine. So I get up and without making a huge fuss, because she's done setting up the altar and she's heading back right to the pew that she was going to sit on. And I said, may I say something to you? She said, yeah, what is it? I said, God loves the faithful servant that you are, that you listen to God and you help and you do all that you're told and all that he asks of you. And she looked at me with shock in her eye and almost a tear and said, how do you know? And then it dawned on her, because I listen to God too, and I do what God tells me to do. It was really beautiful. It was beautiful. It was, she didn't say the words to me. It was more like I was like, gave her that look after she said, how do you know? I gave her this like mouth off to the side, kind of eyebrows up, kind of like, I know because, and she got it. She got it. Claire Ponce, she, read my mind and also read my heart, like, oh, because you do the same and he's asked you to do this. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because she was a faithful servant, right? I think those of you that do whatever God tells you are so important on the planet in the format that you do it, right? When you know it's the voice of God talking to you, speaking with you, and it's beautiful because it brings goodness, light, and love. It's not for you. It's for God. And then all of a sudden our hearts are filled because that's how God is. You can't give God anything. It's always comes back around to you. It just is. The dude does not take one-way gifts. I don't think so. Not at all. It's like it always is better for us. It's so wild. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I love God. So that was a beautiful, quiet moment of God. There was this other one that floored me. I don't remember how long ago it was. And stop me if I've told you this story. I feel like I've told you this story, but I don't know. Don't ask me what episode it's in. I was driving into town and I live on an island and you have to take either a plane to get here or a ferry boat or by boat, right? and I'm driving along. And recently I had said, listen, I really want to write a great book and get Hay House to pick it up. And this would be a cool thing, right? Shout out to Hay House because they publish spiritual books. So I'm like, perfect alignment. So I had had that request out to the universe. And I know that when the time is right, I'm thinking it'll happen. If it's for the highest good, it'll happen. I'm not super worried. I'm not really. I'm like, ask and let it go. And so I'm driving along and I see this woman and she's lugging a weekender's suitcase behind her. And Spirit says, pick her up. Now it's obvious. Listen, when you're on this specific road, it's obvious she's going to the ferry, right? Spirit says, pick her up. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I hear this angel say, wait till you see what happens. You're going to love this. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's so exciting, right? For them. And I knew it felt like a favor for God, but it felt like an angel actually said, you're going to love what happens. I was like, okay. So I turn around and I pull into a nearby or just right there parking lot. And I get out of my car and I say, would you like a lift to the boat? And she goes, no, I'm fine. I said, yeah, I understand, but I see that you're headed to the boat and I'm on my way in that direction. I could give you a lift. It'd be super easy. She's like, okay, all right. Older woman. She said, and I love your bumper sticker. I had a really cool bumper sticker on the car. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks. And I put her bag in the car and we drive down to the boat. And listen, it's like 5 minutes, if that, right? And in the process, she said, what do you do? I told her about my work. This was before I had the YouTube and the podcast going, right? Before I did audio podcasts on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else you get your podcasts. And I said, what do you do? And she said, you won't believe what I've done. She said, I don't do it anymore because I've since retired, but I used to work for Louise Hay. I said, you did not. She goes, yes, I worked for Louise Hay before she was with Reed Tracy, before she got super big. I was with her in the beginning as her accountant. And I was just like, oh my God, you are hilarious. This is hilarious. And I took her card. I know I've told you the story because I took her card and I've since lost her card. I brought her to the boat. She was visiting her daughter or something where I live. And so I thought, God, I hope to see her again. So off she went and I was just like waving and laughing and I was just cracking up. And I think within only a matter of weeks, I had taken this writing class with Hay House, and part of the writing class is you could pitch what you were working on in the moment and send in a videotape. So I included a portion of that story in on the videotape. Never heard back from Hay House. Fine, it was fine. That was something that I was working on a while ago, not something that I'm presently working on. So it was just so cute. And I could hear the angels giggle, right? Ha ha ha. It was a million times nice for me because it was confirmation that the Hay House thing will happen. Um, Especially because she was like the accountant, so there's money. I'm like, oh, that would be cool, right? Because I need money to I need money to pay for these episodes and this content. So a big shout out of thanks to those of you that are members. Those of you that are members, those of you that are subscribers, I really appreciate you. Those of you that share my content, I am so grateful. That helps spread the word and helps get more people involved in it. Thank you to all the advertisers that come on that I don't even know who you are that advertise on my content. I appreciate it. But yeah, I would love to get some book deals, movie deals. Got a lot of things happening, but so that I could keep giving you content. But it was cool because I was like, God, what could I do for you? And God was like, pick up that woman, give her a lift. And then the angel came through as wait till you see what this does. And it was just hilarious, right? So throughout my day, I often say, is there anything I can do for you, God? I direct that thought straight to God. I was like, what can I do for you? What can I do? And sometimes it's pray for these people, pray for this country, pray for this world leader, whatever it is, pick up this lady and give her a lift from the boat, talk to that lady at church. All of these things, right? Do your life calling, Constance. Do your life calling. Do your life calling. Be who I made you to be. Be who I made you to be. Who you are is what you came to do. What if you are the divine plan? I'm not saying this for me, my friend. I'm saying it for you. I'm saying it for you. Who you are is what you came to do. You have come in with skills, gifts, and talents. And don't say this psychic stuff is a gift. I will scream. Anyone can learn it. It's part of your makeup, it's part of your soul DNA. Your main force of communication is through your soul senses, energetically, spiritually connected. You are. You are. And use them to access your greater truths. Ask God, what is my life about? Why am I here? What did you put me here for? I have that meditation, your life calling. If that's something that's of interest, it's in my shop. But I just want you to remember that there is a divine plan for you, you know? Small ways, big ways. There was a divine plan at every step of my life. I believe that. When I was a waitress, I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. I had a blast feeding people, making them laugh, making sure they had romantic evenings, a gorgeous time, right? All of it. Everyone's important, my friend. Everyone's important. Every task is important. So we're all part and parcel for the divine plan. I'm so glad I'm traveling the planet with you. I'm so glad you're tuning in and you're interested. You know, that's a double entendre, tuning into this content, but also tuning in your life. And so I hope that you use the language that is your soul senses to recognize those moments when God is speaking to you and those moments that you want to bring your attention and your time and your energy and your questions and concerns and everything to God, or just your praises and thanks. That's always huge. I love that. The prayer, thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I get so floored by what God does. And sometimes, as you know me, I often say thank you in advance. Thank you in advance for whatever it is you want to have me tell everyone. Thank you in advance for a perfect day, no matter what unfolds. Thank you for reminding me to lean into your guidance when I forget that you're right there and I think I have to do it on my own, even though I know I don't. Same, same, same. Same, same, same for you. So I believe in you. I'm grateful for you. And yeah, prayers of adoration all the time. I'm constantly doing that. Look, I didn't even cry. It's because 'cause I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you, but bang, I feel you. Bang. So I love you. I love you. You got this. Talk to God. If I get my act together, I'll have a guided meditation to offer you in the shop to help guide you. Don't look for it now. Unless you're watching this episode way after I've uploaded it to public access. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. But just do it on your own. You got this. Just set the intention. All right. Thanks for tuning in.